Welcome to Master Your Mindset for a weight loss breakthrough. Carve out the healthy life you deserve with Adrienne Kraig. Adrienne is a certified health coach here to guide women on their journeys toward a healthier life. Adrienne will lovingly hold you accountable and empower you as you create a natural and sustainable weight loss plan designed to keep you feeling good every step of the way. Nourishing food can be delicious and movement can be fun. Get ready to own your power and create lasting change in your mindset and lifestyle. Now here's your host, Adrienne.
Hi, I'm Adrienne Kraig. Welcome to Master Your Mindset for a weight loss breakthrough. Would you like to get to the root cause and get through the superficial of what's causing your health and weight loss challenges? Would you like to gain body confidence on your weight loss journey instead of waiting until the end? I'm here to help you carve out the healthy life you deserve. I would like to welcome any new audience members we have today. And I have a very special guest here with me today that I'm going to tell you a little bit more about in a couple minutes. Her name's Dr. Brook Sheehan. Before we get into today's show topic, though, I have some very exciting news I'd like to share. In that I am co-hosting a new podcast with my good friend Shannon Summers called Two Girls and Plants. And that podcast will launch on July 9th at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. So we're really excited to share this in that we're going to be sharing with you how plants benefit us in our lives and how they nourish us inside and out. This is meant to be a fun and casual show where we will also provide information and education to help you make more nourishing choices in your life and benefit your health and well-being. And today, I'd like to offer a little giveaway. It's just a simple 3-page Word document called My Favorite Nourishing Foods List. And I've already had some great feedback on this list. Husband and wives are loving it to try to plan meals together, find things that they both like, make the meal prep easier. Parents love it for their children who may be picky eaters. And I've also heard that some people with, health complications who have to be very careful about what they eat are loving it, as well as it can help you get out of your eating rut. So you can mark off your favorite nourishing foods and foods you're curious about experimenting with and trying for the first time. So just email me at adriennk@lifecanyon.com or comment on my Facebook page at Life Canyon Limited, and we'll make sure you get that list. So I am really happy about today's show. This is a great topic that Dr. Brook's going to share with us. We're going to talk about the 2 hidden reasons why you may not be losing weight and how to love yourself through that process. And Dr. Brook's going to share with us why toxic metals and high cortisol are factors that we should be considering on any weight loss journey. And we're also going to take a look at the power of learning to love the body that houses our soul through some mirror work. Dr. Brook is a fellow podcast host with me at the Cornelia Stephanie Media Group. And Cornelia Stephanie is an amazing media coach and mentor, as well as she is innovating the media platform in podcasting as we speak. So we love her. Dr. Brook, obviously she's a doctor, but she's also an entrepreneur and body whisperer. Her podcast is called The Body Talks. Dr. Brook's also a chiropractor extraordinaire at Carve Health and Wellness out in California. And she works with entrepreneurs, high achievers, the people who support them in that work, making sure that they're at their optimal levels in their physical, spiritual, emotional, and mental health and well-being. And as an entrepreneur, she understands the demands that running a business or being a high performer in a business can take on our bodies. So she wants to help us be the best versions of ourselves and give us the energy we need to outperform our competition and ensure our legacy in business. Welcome, Dr. Brook. I'm thrilled to have you here with me today.
Thank you, Adrienne. I'm really, really excited to be here. Thank you.
So I know we're going to talk about metal toxicity, which I am personally aligned with and find important because I discovered earlier this year that I have a metal allergy to cobalt and gold. So I'm interested in hearing more about that. And I also love the mirror work exercises as someone who works with people in healing and dealing with emotional eating and self-sabotage. That's really important stuff. And it's sometimes the things that people find the hardest to do. So I'm really excited to hear what you're going to share with us on that.
Awesome. So I could get started in speaking about just those two hidden reasons why people aren't losing weight. And then we can kind of go into the latter part of that, later on in the podcast. But essentially, heavy metal toxicity is a huge thing that a lot of people really don't look at when it comes to their weight loss journey, right? Most of the knowledge or the information out there is you got to eat a right diet and you got to exercise. And so we have people obsessively exercising or obsessively eating, certain amounts of, percentages of carbohydrates, certain percentage of protein, fat, and so on. And they still find themselves in a situation where they're not making any progress, maybe small progress on the scale or, in the inches, but not anything, magnificent where they want to be. And so with heavy metal toxicity, one thing that is not common knowledge is that fat cells hold on to heavy metals. And so when you have heavy metal toxicity in your body, and it's interesting, you said you realized you have a gold and cobalt toxicity, like you can't obviously probably wear gold earrings and necklaces and that kind of stuff because your body is going to react to it. We don't understand too that there's so many other metals out there, such as mercury, such as lead, that we are exposed to every single day. And these accumulate in our tissues, accumulate in our bodies. And unless we're doing proper detox protocols, I have to caveat before I get into the whole detox aspect, is detox is not a one size fits all. This is not about looking at, whoever your supplement provider is or going into your grocery store and finding a detox protocol, because it's really important to look at how your body genetically is responding to detox. And so some of these detox protocols can actually have worse effects on you than when you first started. If your body is not able to properly detox, you're really just pushing toxins throughout your entire system and not getting them properly excreted out. So I would say be careful about starting any detox protocol. Talk to your physician. You can definitely reach out to me. I can help provide some guidance on that. But when we're working with trying to remove heavy metal toxicity from our body and getting our liver to function better, we have to look at different things or different protocols to help process that through. So while eating and exercising or consuming the proper diet is very important in losing weight, this is another factor. The other factor, non-related to heavy metal toxicity, but also related to the liver. So our liver is really important. I know I don't have to say that as a physician for a lot of people to understand how important the liver is, but I don't think we give it as much excitement, or we don't like put it on a pedestal as much as we really should. And the liver actually is one of our major detox organs. But not only for detox, it also processes all of our hormones. It does, it works with vitamin D. It breaks down and builds up sugars and does so much work for us that if we have fat infiltrating our liver is not able to function. And the liver on a daily basis, every single minute to hour, is processing over 500 different functions in our body. Now, that fat in the liver, or if we have what we call issues with fat metabolism, you will essentially cause the liver to be stressed out or like not be able to do its jobs or its work. And so it's important to look at fat metabolism as a problem for being able to detox. So if you cannot metabolize fat properly, no matter what you're doing, you're not able to get fat, move through your body and out and excreted properly. So fat metabolism, heavy metal toxicity, those are very, very big jobs for the liver. And it's important to look at with that. So I know can I say one more thing, Adrienne, before maybe you jump in? But
Yeah.
one of the things I hear a lot, there's a lot of information out there about the keto diet. And keto diet, for any of the listeners who are unfamiliar, is basically a diet that is high in fat, low in carbohydrates. And so people, are really excited about the potentials of losing weight based on this diet. And there are a lot of great benefits to the keto diet. But what happens is a lot of people end up plateauing. So they might lose 20 pounds or they might get down 10, 15 pounds, whatever it is, and they plateau. And no matter how much keto they're eating and no matter how much fat and low carbs they're consuming, they're still not getting to their ideal weight that they want to be at. And so a huge reason for this is that fat metabolism. So essentially the way the gut works is the gut is like our second brain, and it's got its own nervous system called the enteric nervous system. And the enteric nervous system, essentially, when there's too much fat coming in and it's unable to process it, the factory shuts down. And so if the factory shuts down, you're not processing fats properly, you're plateauing, you might even start going the reverse way with keto. And so it's important to look at these factors before starting any sort of quote unquote fad diet.
Yeah. And I think it's so important too that people understand that what's right for one person may not be right for them. And that's why I really love what you're saying about detoxing isn't a one size fits all. It's probably not the best thing to just be doing random detoxes and cleanses out there. You see so much of that stuff offered on social media now.
Right.
I love what you're saying too about bringing awareness to the liver and how that's processing fat and hormones in particular. I think is very important, especially as a woman in midlife and who works with other women in midlife, because once we get there, hormones becomes a huge thing of going kind of crazy for us, and understanding the liver may be able to help with those midlife issues as well.
Absolutely. And that brings me to my second point about high cortisol. So cortisol, when you are in high elevated levels of stress and your body is not able to, so the body is a self-regulating mechanism, right? It can adapt to certain stresses in life. However, through modern culture, we've essentially, thrown the body way out of balance in terms of fight or flight. So our fight or flight stress response is part of our autonomic nervous system. And that autonomic nervous system essentially is our automatic nervous system. It operates regardless of us consciously thinking about it. In fact, we can't consciously think about making our heart beat. It's just going to beat regardless, right? Yeah. And so this fight or flight response really throws cortisol levels way out of balance. Cortisol is supposed to be high in the morning and come down in the evenings so we can get to sleep. So it's what wakes us up, and then it kind of helps put us to bed. Now, back in our ancestral days, right? They actually had tigers to run from or lions to, stay away from, and all of these things to, that were actual triggers. We can trigger our stress response just by thought alone. just by merely thinking about, bills that have to be paid or presentations that have to be given or whatever it is, we can think a thought and stress our system out. And so we don't get these proper balancing of, or this proper balance of cortisol. And so we end up with these elevated levels. That's going to cause fat to stay on the body because the body is working to preserve. It's thinking, oh, hey, if I'm running from a tiger, I need these fat stores because I'm going to be exercising a lot of energy to get that tiger, or to like run and protect my life. So while we look at it, like, oh, we got this pudge or we got all this stuff going on, and we don't recognize it as it's our body keeping us safe. It's our body recognizing I'm going to need this. So I'm going to hang on to it because, I need the fuel source from this. And so with cortisol, it is a hormone. Liver, going back to the liver, hormones being broken down by the liver, we need to really look at elevated levels of cortisol as a potential reality in terms of why you might be hanging on to the weight that you are and why it's not coming off as smoothly as you hope it to, right? So yeah.
Right. Yeah. I've had, I've had to do a lot of work with that on my own cortisol levels personally. And I want to point out that what people may not realize is that I think most of us operate at a chronic low level of stress. And that's why I love how you say like paying the bills. So, or you're having difficulties with your boss or at work or something. It's not necessarily what our ancestors had to deal with, mountain lions or, threats, to their daily lives, hunting and gathering. It's just the daily things that we're trying to get through that can cause those cortisol levels to spike through that chronic low stress that we really need to work through and try to manage.
Absolutely. So another big thing, I mentioned cortisol helping us get up in the morning and then it's supposed to help us go to bed. Well, if you have imbalance in cortisol and you're unable to go to sleep, because a lot of times elevated cortisol will also make it very difficult for people to sleep peacefully or to get a good night's rest, which is an like absolutely necessary part of our whole physiology that the body actually needs to go to sleep. This, I do work with a lot of entrepreneurs and, one of the big things with them is, it's push, grind all the way till, midnight, 2 a.m., sending out the last emails. And while that can be merited for certain times, it shouldn't be ongoing long-term, because what happens is, I know listeners and myself and maybe you, Adrienne, we can all like work, or we can all attest to this, that when you don't get a good night's sleep, the next morning you are dragging butt and you are just not feeling good. And immediately, if you really think about it, what is the first thing you start craving? You start craving sweets and sugar and carbs and all of that, because guess what? The brain runs on glucose. The brain needs sugar to do its job. So it didn't sleep well. It didn't remove all the metabolic waste out of the brain that it needed to while you were sleeping. And so now it's like really clunk, 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 trying to get going. And it wants that sugar so it can do its, work. And so that sugar, those carb intakes, it's only going to throw you backwards in your weight loss journey. So that's another important aspect to look at.
Yeah, if I can go back real quick to the liver and the metal toxicity. So when I was saying that I'm allergic to cobalt and gold, I just found that out this year. For me, and I don't know how this relates to the liver, which is why I'm bringing it up to you. For me, the toxicity started coming out in my skin as eczema due to metal allergies. And that's what I've been working to heal right now. And even though I eat healthy and nourishing foods and things, that was something that still wasn't clearing up. And I wonder, how is there any connection directly between like the liver and then how that stuff may come out through the skin in allergic reactions if you have a high metal toxicity or allergy.
Yeah, absolutely. So if the liver, as I mentioned earlier, is unable to detox or move through the detox protocols properly. So there's two phases of liver detox. You have phase 1 and phase 2. And without getting into all the nitty gritty, essentially phase 1 is, if you think about it as though you're raking leaves in your backyard, right? So you're raking all the leaves in your backyard. That's phase 1 of liver detox. It is picking up all the toxins, getting them all together and bringing them, and putting them in a pile to move them through phase 2 detox. Phase 2 detox would be you taking that pile of leaves and actually getting it picked up and put into a bag. Now, to be, disposed of. Well, if it's not properly moving through phase 1 to phase 2, so you have all the leaves together, right? And you maybe like aren't processing things to put them in the bag, or the bag has a hole in it, then all of those toxins that are now extra toxic because they're all combined together, onesie twosies out here, but now you have it concentrated, can actually have a more detrimental effect. And you will see that outward projection where the skin is now trying to act as a detox and push those out. And that can have the manifestation of skin conditions like eczema and I mean, multiple different things, not just eczema, but a lot of other skin conditions.
Wow. Well, thank you for that. So, we've talked about those two hidden reasons that people may not be losing weight with the metal toxicity and the liver not processing right, and then also cortisol levels. What are, maybe a high impact or a simple thing someone can do to start bringing that awareness into their own health and well-being journey?
Bringing the awareness of high cortisol and liver toxicity?
Yeah, is there anything like simple and easy people can do? Obviously working with doctors like yourself who can help diagnose those things, but just in everyday life, what else can people do?
Well, I mean, the things that people can do at home, really look at food, like you talked about nourishing foods, and I love that you're, working with your clients like that. There are a lot of foods that support liver function. And so even just like consuming those type of foods, one of the things that I will tell people, if you feel, like a lot of stomach bloating or distension, after eating, or you feel like nauseated, or, it just doesn't feel right, that could be a sign of fat metabolism issue. So what you can do at home would be just to kind of lay off fats, and that's even good fats too, lay off fats for 2 to 3 days and then like slowly go back on, and that would help like clear that up. But that's just something to kind of be mindful of. And then in terms of high cortisol, meditation has been a part of my life for the last decade. And, not to say I don't ever reach these levels of stress, but I just think that it's important to really help bring our body back into a state of rest and digest. And so you're not going to digest your foods properly if you're constantly in a fight or flight. You need to move into that more parasympathetic rest and digest, and meditation is great for that. Or even doing activities that bring you joy in your life. I think a lot of times we get really caught up in, doing our work or life's work, that we forget to like do the things that just make us happy. If it's going on a bike ride or going out for a walk or having a cup of coffee with a friend, like whatever it is, like something that can kind of bring a smile to your face and you just kind of get happy, like that's going to bring you down, into more of that rest and digest phase. So
thank you for that. I know we only have a couple minutes left. I'm not sure if we can get to the mirror work or not, or if you just want to let people know how to get in touch with you.
Absolutely. Let me jump into the mirror work really, really quick. So something I share with my patients a lot is, it's so easy, especially as women, to really look at our bodies and feel disgusted and, unsatisfied with it. And the reality is our bodies house this soul, the soul of who we are. And when we start to look into the mirror and say, you know, I love you, Brooke. I love you, Adrienne. Like, I love you for how you are. You know, you're not perfect, but, you know, we're on this journey together. And just really learning to have, I'm getting chills even saying it, but learning to have that relationship, that loving relationship with ourselves. And it's amazing the kind of transformation you will begin to see when you incorporate the physical as well as the emotional and spiritual aspects of your weight loss journey. Ways that people can get in touch with me. You can find all my information on my website at Dr. Brook Sheehan, and that's DRBROOK Sheehan, SHEEHAN.com. And, you know, links to my YouTube and social media and website and all that, and how you can work with me is on there.
Great. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And I know you also do telehealth sessions, so I want to throw that out for people that they can get in touch with you, even if they're not in California.
Correct.
And I just wanted to end on a note that goes along with love for yourself. And what I like to say, show your body gratitude, not attitude.
Love it. That is so great. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate being here.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for listening to Master Your Mindset for a Weight Loss Breakthrough. Tune in next time for more groundbreaking insights to help you shift your mindset so you can achieve your goals and feel amazing in your body. Adrienne is here to support and inspire you on your weight loss journey. You don't need to do this alone. For more information about Adrienne or to work with her personally, visit lifecanyon.com.